Hey everybody, welcome to the pre-race briefing for Stubborn Mule 2025. Thanks to all of you who are making the trip here to race. You all have lots of choices about how and where you spend your weekend, and I'm thrilled that you chose to race Stubborn Mule. We put a ton of time into course design with a real focus on the racer experience. I think you're gonna have an incredible day. We have some really cool stuff to show you. Huge thanks to Badger Orienteering for renting us the extra controls that we need. And good news for all of you is that what that means is that we've got actual controls, orienteering flags with the e-punch controls out on the water for the paddle. So you won't have to navigate to docks looking for questions and answers. For those of you who have raced with us the last couple of years, that's how we did the paddle. So this year we've got property that we can use for hanging controls, which is great news. Big thanks to the 180 crew. This does not happen without all of you. Thank you to Jess, who is crafting finisher awards this spring. You'll see Jess at HQ and the TAs, along with her family, Rodney and Miles. Julie and Charlie have been out setting the course these last couple days in what has not been great weather here. We've had a lot of rain. So they've been toughing it out there, and hopefully, at least in my experience, usually if weather's kind of crappy for setting, it usually means that the weather's good for race day. So fingers crossed that we've got great weather for you tomorrow. Jane and Marsha are taking care of volunteer food. Volunteers that'll be at HQ out at TAs are Ann, Phil, Charlie, Neen, Pam, Joel, Alyssa, Martine, Alicia. Ryan, who's racing the 12-hour, is going to be volunteering for the 24-hour overnight. Susan, Ryan, and Sam Shower volunteering while their family races. I hope I didn't miss anybody, but thanks to every single volunteer. Again, race cannot happen without every one of you. Please thank the volunteers when you see them. You're going to have ups and downs out there. You can blame me for those low moments and give them some praise when you're feeling good. Big thanks to Strong Arm Sally. Our friends Sarah and Diane are up all the way from Madison to bring some great music to the post-race celebration tomorrow night. They're also playing at the Portage tonight, so I think some of the volunteers, including myself, will be there for a while at least, listening to them, and so we hope to connect with some of you if you're coming through cable. And they're from 7 to 10 tonight. Big thanks to Fat Kid Foods. They'll be on site tomorrow with their food truck, and then a thank you to Playmore for breakfast catering on Sunday for the 24-hour. U.S. Forest Service, big thanks for all the work that those folks have done. And USARA, especially Mike Garrison, Brent Freeland, and Abby Perkis, who are super supportive with a lot of the insurance and permitting that we've been working through. And they're doing all that while Mike is getting ready and racing Endless Mountains, and while Brent and Abby are putting on Endless Mountains. So huge shout out to Rootstock for helping this race go on while they're doing their own race. And to quote Abby, it takes a village, and it sure does. Let's see. We have a great course for you. Yesterday, when I was setting the paddle, there were loons out there with young. So really cool to see 2 loon families out on the water. Lots of flowers on the banks. Kingfisher dove down right in front of me while I was paddling. A couple eagles out there. When I was scouting the course, not far from HQ, from the town hall, I saw a lot of elk sign. And some of you may not know this, but there's a elk herd in the Clam Lake area, and they tend to venture over to the Namakagon area sometimes. So you might see elk, hopefully, or at least see some elk poop out there, depending on what you're keeping your eyes open for. For those who've raced our events, I think some areas might be familiar, but I'm pretty confident you're going to find yourself in some brand new areas. There are really some gems out there, big, gigantic trees, cool rock formations. So it's just really, really beautiful. Next, I want to walk through arriving tomorrow. So a little bit about parking around the town hall. The town hall shares parking space with the fire department, and there's also a maintenance building there and a helipad. So we want to make sure that we are not blocking the fire department doors. Don't want to park on the helipad, and there's a big circle in the center of the parking lot for that. And don't block any of the maintenance building doors. Other than blocking those doors, making sure those vehicles can get in and out, it's a free-for-all for parking, plenty of space behind the buildings, down the road, the gravel road that goes south. You can park on one side of that. I think for the 12 and 24 hours, Shouldn't be any problem with parking in the regular lot. 5 hours, we're probably going to put you behind the big round roof building and kind of on the edges of the parking space. Again, plenty of room to park. We just need to be aware of not blocking some of those buildings. And we also need to leave a little bit of space up close to the town hall for the food truck, because we don't want to have to walk too far to get post-race dinner, right? Things about headquarters, there are tables inside, and I think the way we've got the check-ins for each of the races spaced out, there will be room at tables for folks to do planning. Headquarters does have running water. There are flush toilets inside the building. I do recommend, though, with regard to like filling up water, that you arrive with your bottles and bladders full, so that you're race ready when you arrive and can take as much time as possible with instructions and maps. There's also a porta potty out in the parking lot, just so we've got enough bathroom space for everybody as you're getting ready in the morning. When you arrive, stage your bikes out in front of the town hall. So there's a grassy area between the town hall building and County M. That'll be kind of the way that you come in. That's where you can stage your bikes, in that grassy area. And then paddle gear, we'll have a sign out for paddle gear, where to drop that. And we will be transporting paddle gear from HQ to the paddle put in, and we'll be bringing it back as well, so you won't have to carry that. Anything else, leave in your cars. It's totally fine to swing by your vehicle as you transition in and out of the headquarters area. So once the race starts, please don't leave anything in the town hall. So, we're going to have, the 12 hours, use that space for planning, and then the 24 hours, and then the 5 hours. So I want to make sure, those earlier races take all your things out so that there's plenty of space for the 5 hours and for them to do their planning, and then post-race banquet as well. When you arrive at check-in, we'll have goodie bags laid out so you can grab those whenever you arrive. What's in the goodie bags? Including when you arrive at check-in, we'll have goodie bags laid out so you can grab those whenever you arrive. You don't have to wait to the check-in time when you're getting your race packets with the maps. Goodie bags, what's in there? Probably the most important thing is your meal tickets. So meal tickets for the 12-hour and the 5-hour for the food truck, those are in the goodie bag. Also in the goodie bag, we have, thanks to Red Mountain Racing, Mullins Whey Protein. We have Zanfel packets, Squirt Lube for your chain, and balm for your body. That chain lube is wax-based, so that's really great stuff. Discount from our series sponsor, Crawdaddy Outdoors. And your race shirts. If you ordered shirts, there's a tag on the bag indicating who ordered which sizes. And sometimes it can be hard to figure out which, what are the men's shirts versus the women. The cut is a little bit different, but a good tell on those is that the men's shirts have black tags and the women's cut have white tags. We do have extra shirts, so if you need to swap for a different size, please do that. You can do that before or after the race. Sometimes maybe after the race is when you'll want to worry about that, but don't hesitate to swap if you need to. We'll be taking our team picture, so if you get there early and you're ready to go, I think in the morning Jess will probably be the one taking photos, so whoever's taking photos will have a black backdrop set up. Get your team photos so we can show how fresh and clean you looked pre-race. Race packets will be available at your check-in time, so we'll hand those out at 5:45, 7, and 10:30, depending on your race start. When you get your race packets, here's how I would recommend going through them. This is probably most important for newer racers. Read the instructions in the clue sheet. The instructions have a list of all the maps that you should have received. So make sure you've got all the maps listed. Let me know if you're missing something. Next, I would recommend finding the CPs on the maps. Maybe highlight them so that they're easy to find, and then start planning your day. Maybe highlight your route for the bike, measure the distances using either a map wheel or even just a piece of string or a piece of paper with the distances marked on it, and then mark those distances on the map. That can really be really helpful. Then start considering what your team's trekking, paddling, and biking speeds might be, and looking at the course, think about what's realistic. In some cases, there may be more CPs out there than what you can get in the allotted time. So you might need to think about, if I'm running short on time, what am I going to cut out? Ask questions if you have them, especially new teams. We're here to help you if you aren't understanding something in the instructions or just need a little help with planning. Please ask. Related to that, if you haven't yet taken a look at race instructions from previous years, those are available on the website. And so I'd recommend taking a look at that so you kind of have an idea of what the format will be. One thing that's really important on the clue sheet is that we have a column that has the map number that particular CP is on. And so that will be helpful as you are looking for the CPs and also as you're navigating for the day, when you move on to, say, leg 3. And if leg 3 is the paddle, you can easily find on the paddle map. All right, let's get into some of the race stuff. So the winner of each of the 3 races will be the team that gets the most checkpoints in the least amount of time. So we're ranking teams by number of checkpoints followed by time. To be full course teams, 5 hours, you will need to get at least 1 bike checkpoint, 1 trek checkpoint, and 1 other checkpoint that will be clear in the race instructions when you get them tomorrow. 12 hours, well, I'll back up to the 5 hours. So 5 hours, you do not have to get a paddle checkpoint. Those paddle checkpoints will be optional for you. 12-hour racers, you need to get 1 paddle checkpoint, 1 bike checkpoint, and 1 trek checkpoint, plus 1 additional point that will be clear in the race instructions in order to be a full course team. 24 hours, 1 in each discipline, so paddle, bike, and trek. Related to the start, I should talk about that as well since we're talking about each of the races. 5 hours, you'll have a mass start that starts at noon, so your start time, everyone will have the same start time. Same thing for the 12 hours, start will be at 7 a.m., everyone's going off together. And 24 hours, you'll have a staggered start, punching the start control between 9 and 9:15 whenever you're ready in that window. So 5 hours and 12 hours, you won't need to punch a start control. Related to maps and legs, so we'll have different sections of the race. You'll have a section where you're paddling, section where you're biking, section where you're trekking, in various orders. Each of those legs have a number of CPs on them. It's important for you to know which CPs go with which leg of the race. This is specified in the race instructions. But when you're looking at the maps, some of the maps have points from multiple legs printed on the same map. So just be aware of which group of CPs you're getting at a certain point in the race, a certain leg. You might want to mark them with different color highlighters so that you keep those straight. 'Cause it's real easy in a couple cases where you're on the trek and you might be near a paddle checkpoint or vice versa. So just make sure you're keeping with only the leg that you're on. You can't punch future or past CPs. Always check in and out with the volunteer at the TAs. Just give them the team number. It's just so you can kind of keep track of where everybody is and make sure we know where you are. At the TAs, the first time you arrive at a TA, you'll be punching at that location. So basically you get 1 point for getting to a TA. And that's clear in the instructions. As you come in and out of a TA multiple times, you won't punch again. Just check in with the volunteer. Related to TAs will have jugs of water. 5 hours, I expect that you'll be carrying enough water for the day and probably won't need to fill up, but just know if you do need a bit of water, it's available. Porta potties, they're at each TA. A bit about safety. Highway M is the highway that you'll be likely coming in on as you approach headquarters. There's a section of that is off limits, and that means that you won't be allowed to travel on that road. You can cross the road though. So that'll be marked on your maps in like a red or pink highlighting. Just be aware of that. Know that you can't plan to travel on it, but you can cross it. If there's a checkpoint on the other side of the road, you're more than welcome to walk across and back or travel on bike across the road, but not along it. There are some sections of Highway M that you are allowed to ride on. So if you have questions as you're looking at your maps, you're thinking about a route and want to verify it, feel free to ask. Another safety thing, as you're biking, ride single file. Probably even more importantly, if you stop to punch a CP or you're all looking at the map, get well off the side of the road so that you're being safe. A few things about conditions, also related to safety. It rained a lot this week. The good news, I guess, related to that is that There's plenty of water to paddle. And second, our single track dries up pretty well here, so the single track will be open, but be aware of slippery roots and rocks, when you're on the bike and when you're on foot. Julie commented that it was pretty slippery out there when she was setting yesterday. I think she fell a few times, and just want you all to be safe. So, taking that extra time to be sure of your footing, so you don't have something race ending. See, also related to weather and inclement weather, hopefully if I say this, we don't have to worry about it. If there's lightning or severe weather nearby at race start, we'll postpone the start. If there's severe weather after the race starts, it's just not so easy for us to pause the entire race because you all will be spread out. There's not a good way to communicate with all of you. So it's really up to you and your team's judgment to determine if you should stop if there's severe weather and wait it out. If you do that, please be on the honor system, track your stop time, and we'll credit that back as needed. Let's see, a little bit about race flow. I'm going to actually share the flow so that you can plan your food and drink and what you might stage with your paddle gear. Please be considerate of those volunteers who are loading equipment, though. Think about what you really need to put in that paddle bag and what you're going to use. Label your stuff, including your bikes, with your team number. All right, so here's the order. So 5 hours, you're going to be split into 2 groups, and the group numbers are 1 and 2. The group numbers are on the team list that's on the website. You're going to start off on the bike, and then you're going to come into a transition area where there's a paddle and a trek. And so group 1 will paddle first and then trek. Group 2 will trek and then paddle, and that's for us to manage the number of boats that we needed, essentially. Now, the paddle is optional for the 5 hours, so if you're in group 1 and you're supposed to paddle first and you've decided for whatever reason you're not going to paddle, you can move right on to the trek. So you can skip a section there, but you wouldn't be able to go back and do the paddle later, just to be clear about that. So again, you're starting on the bike, and then there's this paddle trek or trek paddle section, and then a bike, and then a trek. That's the 5 hour flow. 12 hour flow, starting on the bike, then paddle, trek, bike, and then there's a big trek, which I think is going to be really fun. There's a lot of choice out there. We've got 25 CPs set, and you will get to obtain up to 11 of your choice. So it'll be, I wish we had trackers with all of you, because it'll be super fun to see what checkpoints you all choose to get. I hope many of you will be running tracking and uploading to LiveLox so that we can see how your day went. And then a bike and a trek. So just to go through the 12 hour again: bike, paddle, trek, bike, big trek, bike, and then trek. 30 hours, you're starting on the bike as well, and then bike trek. So might call that a hike-a-bike or a bike with an embedded trek, depending on how you tackle that. Trek, bike, and then the paddle trek section, there's a choice in there whether you paddle first or trek first. So I think that's going to be at night for you folks. So you're going to have a choice there in terms of what you do. Maybe you'll make a choice there depending on when it's going to get light. And then a bike and a trek. So again, 30 hours bike, bike trek or hike-a-bike, trek, bike, paddle trek, bike, and then trek. I'll put these in the email that I'm sending you also, because I realize it's probably hard as I am just rattling it off. I mentioned tracking. So tracking will have trackers for the 24 hour. You should pick those up. And there's a video on the website about how the trackers work. We'll get those to you at check-in. Be aware that cell coverage is pretty minimal in the locations on the course, and those trackers use cell data to basically upload the route or your data so that it can be seen on the web. So it's getting GPS data, but that upload to the web is through cell data. So what that means is that your friends and family might be wondering why your dot's not moving. It would be worthwhile letting them know that it's expected that tracking is going to be delayed. And then once you hit cell service again, that will upload. Friends and family who are also watching in the 5 and the 12 hours will be putting hopefully updates out on Facebook. I think we're going to have Alicia helping out with that and putting some updates out there. We'll do the best we can. Coverage is not great, so that's going to depend on us being able to get some internet access to upload that stuff. I think that brings us to post-race. So at the finish line, punch the finish control, turn in your finger stick, 24-hour teams, turn in your tracker, and then you'll collect your finisher award, handcrafted by Jess. There'll be an assortment of cold drinks at the finish line, and then Saturday for 5 and 12s, food truck starts serving at 5:30, and that'll go until 8 o'clock. Music from Strong Arm Sally, and a note, make sure you have your ticket from your goodie bag for food. So you're going to exchange that at the food truck. 24 hours, we'll have a breakfasty finisher meal catered by Playmore. Incidentally, Playmore is another good choice for dinner on Friday night if you're out towards Namakagon and don't want to trek back into to Cable. Breakfast on Sunday is at 9. Awards will be at 9:30. Shifting back to the 5 and the 12s, the plan for that is to get results up as quickly as we can on the big screen in the town hall. We hope to do awards for the 5-hour, and that'll be like the top 3 in each division at 6. And then 12 hours, we're hoping to do that at 7:30. We'll have door prizes, door prize drawings that we'll do during each of those times as well. Top finishers, once we have the top 3 official finishers, we'll do this after the end of the race next week, looking at all the data. The top 3 official finishers will receive money for future event, $180 for future event. Door prizes must be present to win with one exception. So I want to do a drawing for that infinity seat. We'll put all the names in the hat for that. And because the 24-hour teams will still be out on the course when we do that drawing, you won't have to be present to win the infinity seat. So other items on the prize table, we've got stuff from Aiden Gear. They've got food bags or bike bottle bags for handlebars, which I think are great. I love using them for carrying more water, more food. We've got coffee from Velo Cafe, arm sleeves from Aiden Gear, whistles from Aiden Gear. Women of AR sent up some shirts. We have some 180 adventure hats and logoed items, including mosquito nets. And as I'm saying that, I realized I didn't give a bug report. Or did I give a bug report? I can't remember. Mosquitoes have been not bad at all this year, but with the rain that we just got and now a temperature coming up on Saturday, we're anticipating they're going to be out. So consider mosquito repellent, mosquito nets. Keeping moving is probably the best tip that I can offer in terms of evading mosquitoes. Let's see, last thing tonight, some of us will be at the Portage in Cable. Strong Arm Sally is playing starting at 7. Rivers Eatery is a great place to grab food. The Portage is a good place to grab food. They're right next door to each other. Myself and some of the volunteers will be at the Portage probably around 7. I don't know how long we'll be there, but the band plays till 10. Last thing, be kind to yourselves and each other out there. You are doing an amazing hard thing. So, give yourself some grace, give everybody some grace that you encounter tomorrow. I tell everyone that the adventure racing community, that's the racers and the volunteers, are just the best group to be part of. So let's keep that true and hope you enjoy tomorrow. We'll see some of you tonight, all of you tomorrow. Safe travels.